Africa Regional Center is celebrating the 10-year anniversary since inception right here in Nairobi. Remember that IEC comprises of over 40 member African countries, and this has been impactful when it comes to matters standards, where they ensure safe, reliable, and harmonized electrical and electronic products. Now, the goal here is to make African countries more competitive. Nikuulize? Eh?
Another applause for the KBC choir. I think you can try the do part. That was a very good song for an event like this, the IEC-AFRC event, and the choice of that song really excited me. I didn't hear the rest of the words, but I heard Africa. At least that one you heard, right? You heard that, and then the do part. So yes, songs have a wonderful way of making the event just come alive. And those of you who have come in and registering, once you're done with your registration, you can just walk in and get your most comfortable seat. We are trying to do everything possible to ensure the place is as comfortable. Our guests are right about to come in, and we should be starting in a little while. Why don't you enjoy one more number from the KBC choir? Like I told you, you already have benchmark, so you can pick one of them to teach you their songs. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Take it away, KBC choir.
Sound check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2. We are still camped here at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, where the International Electrotechnology Commission Africa Region Center is celebrating the 10-year anniversary, which is a whole celebration of a decade of impact and powering Africa's future. As you can hear behind me, the event is about to start, and the choir is just belting out tunes to entertain guests. And the room is almost filling up, and the main guests are about to arrive so that the event can officially kick off. Just to give you the context of this event, remember that earlier I had said that the International Electrotechnology Commission is the global body that is responsible for matters that include international standards in electrical, electronic, and other related technology. They enable the safe usage and also sustainable and interoperable systems worldwide. IEC African Region Center was established on the 2nd of November 2015 and works in conjunction with the Kenya Bureau of Standards in ensuring that Africa takes up these international standards to ensure that there is an impact when it comes to industry, innovation, and also by extension creating opportunities for the young generation within Kenya and the Africa at large, and also the whole idea of having SMEs getting impacted with matters to do with standards. This region within Africa that is headquartered here in Nairobi is the African arm that helps not only Kenya but also Africa in conforming to these standards. These standards also make sure that we have reliable and harmonized electrical and electronic products. What you use from every day, like household appliances, the power socket that you use when you are switching on your lights, there is a standard to which they are made. Now, this convergence brings together policymakers, industry players, innovators, and even the younger generation in making sure that they are aligned to the global standards. And also, the whole goal here, given that IEC now works with the bodies like the Kenya Bureau of Standards, make sure that industries are more competitive and also gain an advantage, especially when it comes to trading at the global stage. The celebration also marks the first Africa Quality Infrastructure Electrotechnology Week, which also brings together engineers, policymakers, innovators, and industry leaders. Now, you would wonder why this conference matters. The whole idea here is, as we had earlier said, is that standards power your everyday life, and also ensuring that all systems, including power systems, are safe and interoperable. And for Africa, it means that these standards ensure better trading opportunities and also higher quality in terms of manufacturing. Now, according to the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, it plays a leading role in ensuring that Kenya's voice when it comes to matters of standard setting are also heard. And given that this whole commission has its center right here in Nairobi, dealing or taking care of over 40 countries within Africa. It means that a country like Kenya, for instance, gets ready when it comes to exports, quality that they export outside there. Yesterday I was having a conversation with the regional director of EIC in Africa, that is Francois Ahote, on Good Morning Kenya. And one of the things he said is that, electrotechnology is not really seen or talked about by people as something that may be of importance. But it plays a very important role when it comes to the whole idea of driving industrialization, especially in countries within Africa. The discussions here are likely to focus on how standards will drive industrialization, clean energy, innovation, and especially for African youth and SMEs. The choir is still belting out tunes. They've just finished belting out one tune, and the guests we are still waiting for the event to start. The guests are about to arrive. And also, there are partnerships that happen. Kenya Bureau of Standards being the host of...
that you need to redo the do song. Yeah, but there's also a good variety of entertainment from the acrobats. Do you want to see them? Are there guests from Uganda? Can I see? So you guys will interpret for that song. I'll come for a personalized interpretation. But as the acrobats are setting in, they will show up from anywhere. Because the acrobats, just be sure they will keep your safety. They can show up from anywhere. From the roof, from this side, from whichever side. But before the acrobats and our guests are coming in, so I think the choir will continue with one song as our guests are coming in and settling. We're just about ready to begin. One more song, KBC Choir.
We go down south. Oye nyangane langane nkwenkwezi oyingwele simakade oye nyangane langane nkwenkwezi oyingwele simakade oye nyangane langane nkwenkwezi oyingwele simakade oyingwele simakade
Ladies and gentlemen, let's appreciate the KBC Choir one more time. No, they do deserve a warm round of applause. So I've just been notified that KBC is the only standardization body that has a choir. Unless any of yours in your respective countries has a choir, I'd like us to put a warm round of applause once again to the KBC Choir. And the choir is ably directed by Kavehere. If you're a Kenyan, and I'll say this for the benefit of our guests who are here this morning, have you heard of Sauti Sol? You have. So Kavehere is one of the very few music directors who has trained some of Kenya's biggest musicians. So let's give another warm round of applause to the KBC Choir. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to very warmly welcome you this morning to the IEC-AFRC 10-year anniversary conference. My name is Terry Anchebet, and I'll be your MC this morning. I am delighted to be here. And I know that a number of countries are represented here, so I'm going to ask you one thing. Have you learned any Kiswahili yet? Any at all? I'll come down with a mic. Any at all? Asante, that's wonderful. What does it mean? Asante means thank you. Any other word? Karibu, that's our most favorite word as Kenyans. Karibu, you're very welcome. Any other Kiswahili word? Hakuna Matata. Absolutely, a very, very warm welcome to all of you who are visiting Kenya for the first time, and also those who are coming back. Would like to say Karibu Sana Nyumbani, that means welcome home. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, today we are marking the celebration of a decade of impactful progress, coinciding with the inaugural Africa Electrotechnical Quality Infrastructure Week, which of course kicks off today, the 4th of November 2025, here at the Kenyatta International Conference Center. And some of the things that we are expecting today, of course, celebration, having some retrospection on the past and what we have done as an industry, of course, acknowledging the progress and the impact of the IEC that has made in over the past 10 years. And of course, to promote collaboration, create extraordinary networking opportunities for all of us here to hopefully forge some meaningful relationships among African nations, industry leaders who are here, and of course your global counterparts, and also to showcase innovation in our continent, to provide a vibrant platform for companies to unveil their latest groundbreaking products, services, and solutions. All right, without much further ado, I would like us to be all standing. We'd like to kick off with our national anthem, the East African anthem, and thereafter we'll have an opening prayer. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on our feet.
Ilete baraka
pause for prayer. Our Father in heaven, our hearts are glad for spotlighting on Nairobi and Kenya today in this very venue to collect together honorable guests from different parts of this globe for an important agenda in these 3 days. We pause first of all to thank you for this great miracle. Thank you for the love that you have shown to us. Thank you for the panelists that you will send to us. The exhibition is outside and much more, our guests. As we set in to begin this event, we pray that your Spirit will guide us, fall afresh on us, and give us fresh inspiration. We pray that you will extend our coasts and borders, that our grasp of the subject will be deep and impactful. I ask, Lord, for cohesion. I ask that your presence will give us a joyful celebration moment, but much more impactful in our thinking. I pray that as we interact, you will give us good networking for furtherance of the purpose you have placed for this event. We thank you because we pray that you begin with us, proceed with us in the middle, and even at the end of it, we ask that you will give us the diligence to thank you. We pray for a good weather. We pray that you will keep our families who we have left home. We ask that your presence will be in this event every moment. For these things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
You may have your seats. And let's appreciate Andrew Owino as well, my co-MC who will be guiding us through the day as well. A round of applause. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we still do have the choir with us who will be entertaining us with 2 more songs. One, I think, which should have almost made it as, I don't want to say Kenya's national anthem, but it comes close. And that's the song Malaika by Fadhili Williams, and a second song called Everything I Desire. I'm told the song is from South Africa. Let's give them another warm round of applause, and thereafter we will continue with the program.
Malaika, nakupenda We go the way to the United States of South Africa and sing. You say, the Lord stays the same, He never changes. Omangani wami, ebuzibeni. He stays the same in good and even bad times. Ta-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na-na-na-na, oh, ta-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na-na-na-na, ta-na-na. You are my friend, you are my joy, you are my comforter. Hiya, oh, you are everything I desire. When I feel so sad and lonely, you are the first one. Oh, on my mind, oh, you are my friend, you are my joy, you are my comforter. Hiya, oh, you are everything I desire. When I feel so sad and lonely, you are the first one. Oh, on my mind, omngani wami, ebuzibeni, ebunadeni, awungukuki, wesomandla, bonga, we enababa, awungukuki. When you are in need, call on to Jesus. He's got the power to lift you up. Oh, when you are in need, call on to Jesus. He's got the power to lift you up. Gizokuko, gazozo, gotando. You are my friend, you are my joy, you are my comfort. Oh, you are everything I desire. When I feel so sad.
We didn't overpromise, but under-deliver. KBC Choir, you did so well. Another round of applause for KBC Choir. In my next life, I would like to be a singer. Now I want to introduce to you the acrobats. They are called acrobat champs. Maybe you'll need them in your event where you need the kind of joy they're about to bring in this room. They're called Black Angels, all the way from Mombasa. But because they're acrobats, we can't locate them where they are, where they're coming from. Oh, at least now we have... I was expecting they would come through the roof or from underground, just anywhere. But please, ladies and gentlemen, make welcome. Would you please just welcome the Black Angels? They'll use that side, right? Yeah, they can't fit up here. Okay, the place is too short for you guys. Okay, you take it away. I'll come back to introduce to you my very able chief MC. You will be glad to hear her profile after the acrobats. going. Let's give them a clap as they wind up. I think as you look around, ladies and gentlemen, they are wonderfully black eagles. Another clap. Let's keep it up until they leave the stage. The wonderful black eagles. They are the acrobat champs. One of our esteemed guests, Mr. Eddie, was looking at them and wondering how standardized they can be and how safe this is. But you see, first they came in with the same height. And then, so there if you come with a little bit of body, you're the one who bears all the weight. Well, friends, our celebration now begins. We have esteemed guests whose shoelaces I am not worthy to untie. And I want to welcome the most wonderful chief MC for today. She already had begun well. Please give her a round of applause. This is none other than Terian Chebet. Terian Chebet is a former business journalist and editor, and she is a managing partner at Imbizo Africa Advisory. Now, at Imbizo Africa Advisory, they deal with strategic counsel for leaders. They also deal with investors, communications. They can help you to communicate with and for Africa. She will be the one to guide us in the opening ceremony, which I know all of you now are ready for. Make welcome the wonderful Terian Chebet. You can do better. She will do a better job than I have done. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for the warm welcome. Let's appreciate the Black Angels one more time. You know, there's many things that unite us as Africans. You know, serious things like the AFCFTA, serious things like today, the IEC-AFRC, QI, which I've had to read about all week. And I would say the one single thread that unites us as Africans is song and dance. You know, it doesn't matter where we come from on the continent, song and dance. We celebrate when we're happy, we sing and dance when we're sad, we sing and dance no matter what. Let's appreciate the choir and the Black Angel Acrobats. We're now getting into the formal part of our program this morning. That doesn't mean the song and dance comes to an end. It means we just get into some conversations around why we're here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme is a decade of progress with International Electrotechnical Commission in Africa, honoring the past and innovating for a sustainable future. I would like to now welcome our very first speaker this morning, Engineer Zakaria Lukorito, who's the director. Engineer, just sit down for a bit. Let me introduce you properly. Director, Standards Development and Trade at the Kenya Bureau of Standards. He will be giving us a brief overview of the event and why we're here this morning. Engineer Zakaria is the Director of Standards Development and Trade at KEBS, where he leads a dedicated team in driving the national standardization activities, harmonization of regional standards at EAC, that's East Africa Community, AFRC and ARSO, as well as participation in international standardization at international organizations for standardization at ISO, IEC, and Codex. Let's give him a warm round of applause as he makes the opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Terian, for those remarks that you've made. Sometimes I find myself difficult to speak after you've been introduced so elaborately like that. But that notwithstanding, I'm really honored this morning to be here. Our chief guest, the IEC President, Joe Cops, the former ISO President, Edin Njoroge, the National Standards Council Chair, Dr. Honorable Chris Omalwa, the IEC Africa Office Director, Francois Horty, the National IEC Committee President, Engineer Cyrus, the IEC colleagues from Geneva, all African continent representatives this morning, the ARSO Secretary General, Dr. Homogene Singemana. Good morning and welcome to this momentous occasion. My duty this morning is really to just welcome all of you as we gather to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the IEC-AFRC. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today as we mark a decade of remarkable progress, collaboration, and impact in advancing electrotechnical standardization across Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, as we gather here, we want to mark the 10 years, and indeed, IEC-AFRC has grown from a visionary initiative into a dynamic platform that has fostered regional integration, strengthening technical capacity, and amplified Africa's voice in the global standardization arena. This milestone, ladies and gentlemen, is a testament of the dedication, resilience, and shared commitment of all our stakeholders, specifically governments, national standards bodies, industry leaders, academia, and development partners who have facilitated this gathering this morning as well. This week presents us with a unique opportunity to celebrate, as I've mentioned, progress, but most importantly, recommit ourselves to collaboration, focus on innovation and sustainability, support the African Continental Trade, AFCFTA, and most importantly, congregate as stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, this event just comes 2 weeks after we've celebrated the World Standards Day. And the theme for this World Standards Day was Partnership for the Cause. And indeed, we are continuing in that progress as we celebrate this event of the 10th anniversary of IEC-AFRC. Therefore, as we reflect on our journey, we also look ahead with a renewed purpose. The next decade will present us with even unique challenges and opportunities to deepen our engagement, embrace innovation, and ensure that African standards continue to support sustainable development, industrialization, and the digital transformation of our economies. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've looked at the program this week, we are going to delve deep into this particular subject that I've briefly mentioned here. And indeed, there would have come no better time than today. Therefore, let us use this celebration not only to honor our achievement, but also to reaffirm our collective resolve to build a future where standards empower progress, inclusion, and prosperity for all. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, my role was to welcome you this morning, but having made those remarks and introduced the subject that we are going to celebrate this week, on behalf of the organizing committee, I warmly welcome you to this celebration. May it be a time of inspiration, connection, and forward-looking dialogue. Thank you, and a happy anniversary of IEC-AFRC. Thank you.
Let's appreciate Engineer Lukorito one more time for formally welcoming us and telling us a little bit about what we're here for this morning and what to expect over the next couple of days. On that note, I want to very quickly move on to our next speaker this morning, who's Engineer Cyrus Kalusi, President of the Kenya National Committee of the International Electrotechnical Commission. Engineer Cyrus is a registered professional engineer with over 40 years engineering experience and currently a consultant with Kama Engineering Solutions. He participates in standardization at the national, regional, and international levels. He's a member of IEC-TC 121B, a member and immediate past chair of AFRC TC 64, a member of AFRC JWGI1, and a member of KEBS TCs 86 and 91. Let's give Engineer Kalusi a warm round of applause.
Good morning. We always start with saluting because it means you mean peace. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this 3-day international conference. But before I go further, allow me to recognize and salute our distinguished guests present today. I'll start with our own, the Managing Director, Kenya Bureau of Standards. We also have the Secretary General, Africa Organization for Standardization, which is ARSO. We have amongst us the President, African Electrotechnical Standardization Commission, that is AFRC. We are also honored to have the immediate former president of ISO. Together with us is our chairman for the National Standards Council. We also have the president of the International Electrotechnical Commission, IEC. And we have our permanent secretary, the State Department for Industry, and the director, State Department of Energy in the government. Our valued partners, industry leaders, and delegates gathered here today, I wish to welcome you. It is my great honor and privilege to warmly welcome you all to this important day. As we mark a decade since the establishment of IEC Regional Center, we reflect on a remarkable journey defined by collaboration, innovation, and shared commitment to strengthening Africa's position in the global electrotechnical landscape. This milestone is not only a celebration, it is also a call to action. And what action? We need to deepen our partnerships, elevate our ambitions, and continue shaping the future of standardization and quality infrastructure across the continent. This conference marks a significant milestone for us as we reflect on a decade of progress and shared commitment to advancing electrotechnical standards in Africa. Over the past 10 years, our journey with the IEC has transformed how we approach innovation, safety, sustainability within our infrastructure and industries. Through combined efforts of our national committee, technical committees, government departments, academia, and other partners, we have made strides in harmonizing standards, strengthening the expert capacity, and creating platforms that empower African experts to shape the global standards agenda. As we look ahead, this gathering presents a vital opportunity to exchange ideas, celebrate achievements, and chart the course for the next decade of growth and cooperation. Let us seize the moment to reaffirm our collective commitment to ensuring African countries continue to play a central role in the electrotechnical standards landscape. We are confident that the African Electrotechnical Quality Infrastructure Week, which is part of this celebration, will provide rich opportunities for learning, dialogue, and strategic engagement. From thought-provoking panel discussions to interactive workshops, this event has been designed to inspire and empower all stakeholders across the government departments, industry, and academia. Ladies and gentlemen, let's use these 3 days to celebrate a decade of impact, to share transformative insights and innovations, and to chart new pathways for collaboration and capacity building. What are the objectives? Let's look at the milestones. We take a moment to look back with pride, acknowledging the impact and progress achieved by IEC-AFRC over the past 10 years. We celebrate the growing participation of African nations within IEC, whether as full members, associate members, or affiliates, and the capacity building of our experts in the standardization and conformity assessment. Notably, Kenya is proud to have been the recipient of the first IEC Global Impact Fund project in the initiative by IEC. This is a testament to our region's growing partnership and capability. At this conference also, we'll provide extraordinary platform for networking, partnership building, stakeholders in the African nations, such as industry leaders, government departments, and international partners to share ideas, explore opportunities, and forge collaborations that will shape the future. It is also an opportunity to showcase for companies, for innovators, for institutions, to showcase their latest products, services, and technological solutions, as you will see at the exhibition tent. But the strong pillar, the strong point of this conference is to emphasize the vital role of international standards in ensuring safety, interoperability, and quality across the electrotechnical value chain. Adherence to conformity to standards is fundamental for sustainable growth. Ladies and gentlemen, to not be proper to end my remarks without touching on the thematic reflections. This conference will explore the role of standards and conformity assessment in supporting Africa's economic transformation and the African continental free trade area. The importance of electrotechnology in power industry, infrastructure, expanding access to electricity, and adhering to Africa's energy challenges. The contribution of IEC standards and conformity assessment in ensuring energy efficiency, safety, and sustainability of electrical equipment is key, and it will help in advancing projects such as e-mobility, poverty reduction, climate change, and sustainable development goals. We all know Africa continues to be a net importer of electrotechnology, and therefore, aligning with international standards remains essential in ensuring safety, efficiency, and long-term growth. On behalf of the National Committee of Kenya for the IEC, allow me to sincerely thank our partners who have supported the work and services of the committee and IEC. In this regard, I appreciate partners and industry captains such as Kenya Power, KenGen, Schneider, these are among others, for their support in promotion of electrotechnical standards and capacity building of young professionals in the country. Kenya is honored to host this conference and anniversary celebrations. We are equally proud to host the IEC-AFRC Regional Center, and we look forward to advancing towards full membership in the IEC in the near future. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to the IEC, ARSO, AFSEC, KEBS, and all stakeholders who have contributed in making this event possible. Your dedication and partnership continue to drive the transformation we aspire to see across the continent. Together, we can ensure the next decade of IEC-AFRC will be one of greater inclusion, innovation, and sustainable growth, truly powering future of Africa. In conclusion, this conference is more than a commemoration. It is a forward-looking dialogue on how we can strengthen Africa's role in the global electrotechnical ecosystem. I wish you all fruitful deliberations and engagements throughout the conference. Happy anniversary. I thank you all.
Thank you so much, Engineer Cyrus. Let's give him another warm round of applause. I'd like to now welcome our next speaker, Dr. Hermogene Nsengimana, who has led the African Organization for Standardization since the year 2012. Under his leadership, ARSO has strengthened its role as the continental body harmonizing standards, conformity assessment, and quality infrastructure across 38 member states in support of the African Union's Agenda 2063 and the ambition of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Dr. Nsengimana brings more than 20 years of experience in trade policy, quality infrastructure, and industrial transformation, and is widely recognized for his strategic insight in linking standards and trade to Africa's industrialization path. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Nsengimana.
Good morning. Let me stand on all protocol, because I am told when you start now the protocol, you should recognize everyone. Yeah, it will be difficult to have all the names, but let me recognize the president of IEC, who came this morning. Yeah. We were joking that he might sleep when he is giving a speech. Happy anniversary, 10th anniversary for the IEC-AFRC Center. I am happy that when it started, I was around. Yeah. Ahoti, my brother and a friend, we were discussing actually why IEC in Africa, why we have AFRC in Africa. But today, it's a recognition when I saw that we will be actually having Africa quality infrastructure in electro-technology. Africa quality infrastructure in electro-technology, the first conference. I think my just short remarks are in that area. 2 years ago, we also celebrated Pan-Africa quality infrastructure. Pan-Africa quality infrastructure, what we call PACI, combines ARSO, African Organization for Standardization, AFRC for electro-technology, we have AFRAC for accreditation, and we have also AFRIMET for metrology. This also was launched actually in Kenya in 2013, Pan-Africa Quality Infrastructure. This was bringing in a collaboration of not just looking at standardization alone, but also look at the bigger picture of quality infrastructure. How do we collaborate as standardizers with those in the area of accreditation, those in the area of metrology? If you look at the whole continent, when we started assessing the quality infrastructure for the whole continent, we had at that time, in 2013, only 4 countries that could trade to one another looking at their level of quality infrastructure. That was among the 4 countries. We had Egypt, we had Tunisia, we had Kenya and South Africa. Today, we are reaching around 17 countries that are at good quality infrastructure systems, not just standardization. We need to do more. We need to do more. That's why from the Pan-Africa quality infrastructure, ARZO and AFRC has built a relationship. At this level now, we have a joint technical committee. I am proud for that. We deserve an applause. When you see ISO IEC standards being published, we want in the near future to see ARS and AFRC standard being published together. We are putting on joint advisory board for approval of those standards, and we have currently 3 subcommittees on hydropower, photovoltaic, and wind energy. We would like to continue working very closely with IEC, and in the collaboration that we have established recently during ISO Week in Kigali, ARZO has signed what we call Kigali Agreement, where we can be starting developing standard at the continental level, and other international organizations or other countries that are not just from Africa can also participate. The same way that Africa can be represented in different technical committees of ISO, then we will publish simultaneously those standards at continental level and at international level. I am looking forward for that. My second point is about the real work that we have under standardization. If I look at the portfolio today that we have at the African Organization for Standardization, we have published more than 2,400 standards. That's it's only 25% of the standards needed at the level of the AFCFTA, Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. 25%. We have a lot to do. Those 75% that remaining, I would say that we need probably to be publishing around 1,500 standard per year. We are at 950 standard per year. This is a bigger challenge. There is a call of action our engineer had told us. Why can't we publish more standard per year? It also comes from the industry sitting here, the expert sitting here. President IEC, we still have a continent that our experts are being paid. Let me call it facilitated. You look at the Bureau of Standards, they will tell you the budget to facilitate the standardization work is a huge budget. We are a continent where our industries are not really our industries. They are industries from outside, and participation is not active at the continental level to be able to contribute to standardization work. I urge industries sitting here that while we celebrate these 10 years, but let's also participate actively in the work that we are doing at the continent. If you look at the Global Innovation Index of 2024, among the 10 countries that we have at the continental level, while Kenya is number 9, Mauritius #1, and other countries. We have a lot of innovations that we have. #9 at region, not at the global. The first, which is Mauritius, is number 55. Yeah. But we have a lot of innovation. Let's M-Pesa itself, that's originated from here. There are other innovations. But what are we doing to help those innovations in making money? If we don't do that, transform innovation to what is tangible for the innovators, that's when we will sell again those innovations. And we are not able now to have the industry at the local level because we are selling jobs and we are selling knowledge. And it will not help us if we don't do that. We will not have experts to develop those standards. But I am happy to say among our standards, 60% are based on international standard. Lastly, is on conformity assessment. Congratulations to IEC. I think you have the best conformity assessment system I have ever seen. Consumers can easily know this is an equipment that is certified. We have developed also Africa Conformity Assessment System. I would like to continue collaborating with IEC. We already have different systems. But one key area is on sustainability. In 2018, our ministers in charge of environment have now approved several of our conformity assessment for sustainability. We would like not to duplicate efforts. Duplicating efforts, it's a cost for our users, for our enterprise, our industries. And I would urge my brother Ahoti that we sit together while you are thinking on the issues of sustainability and we start serving our enterprises without duplication. We have last week approved the ARZO Regional Economical Community Standardization Strategy at continental level, which will be officially launched next year in June to avoid the duplication that is happening among the region. And as I mentioned, we have now an agreement with ISO, and I am looking forward to the collaboration with IEC. Once again, happy anniversary.
Many thanks, Dr. Nsengimana, for your thoughts and your insights, and of course for celebrating the work that the stakeholders in the room have done over the last 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have the honor to welcome Mr. Eddie Njoroge, who made history as the first African to be elected the president of the ISO in its 70-year legacy. His appointment signaled a major shift in global standardization, bringing fresh focus to the role of developing economies in shaping international norms and enabling inclusive participation in global markets. Prior to this, Mr. Njoroge led Kenya's largest power generation company, serving as the chief executive of the Kenya electricity generating company KenGen, and driving critical transformation in Kenya's energy sector. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Eddie Njoroge.
Like the speaker before me, I'm also going to stand on the protocols which have been established already. We don't need to repeat them. But ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say what a pleasure it is, an honor to join you this morning as you celebrate the 10th anniversary of IEC Africa Regional Center, a milestone that reflects how far we have come and how boldly we must now look ahead. The journey and story of IEC-AFRC is anchored on collaboration, and this is a word I have heard over and over this morning. There's been a lot of words like partnership, collaboration, including from the previous speaker. This is collaboration among nations, between the public and the private sectors, and across global standardization ecosystems. It is a system that affirms a simple yet a very powerful truth. No single organization and no single country can overcome the great challenges of our time on their own. In the world of standardization, we confront issues that are complex, global, and deeply interconnected. Climate change, AI, digital transformation, equitable access to energy, sustainable economics are just a few of the common challenges faced by the whole humanity. These are challenges that transcend borders, and so must their solutions. The establishment of IEC-AFRC 10 years ago was therefore a decisive moment not only for the IEC, but for the entire continent. It ensured that Africa would no longer wait to receive rules drafted and enacted elsewhere, but would sit firmly at the decision-making table where the frameworks for global electrotechnology are defined. Today, we clearly see the results. Strengthened participation of African experts in international standards development, growing technical capacity, and deeper cooperation among the national standards bodies, regulators, industry, and academia. Africa's influence in the global standardization community is now stronger, clearer, and more coordinated than ever before. As a former president of ISO, I have had the privilege to witness firsthand how international standards can transform societies. Standards build trust. They make innovation interoperable. They open markets and strengthen competitiveness. But most importantly, they ensure that technological advances, whether in energy, digital systems, manufacturing, or mobility, improve lives safely and sustainably. They make lives easier, safer, and better. Together, ISO and IEC form the backbone of the global quality infrastructure supporting how products are made, traded, used, trusted around the world. The growing leadership of African nations in both organizations is not only commendable, it is essential to shaping a future that reflects Africa's unique strengths, aspirations, and opportunities. I was committed to strengthening an even stronger relationship between the two organizations, and during my presidency, I appointed the outgoing president as a special advisor to me on matters relating to ISO-IEC relations. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's theme, Honoring the Past and Innovating for a Sustainable Future, perfectly captures the journey we celebrate today. We honor the thousands of engineers, policymakers, academics, and technical experts who have worked tirelessly to embed standards into Africa's development pathways, from electrification to smart manufacturing, from infrastructure and modernization to digital inclusion. Yet we do not pause only to reflect. We honor the past by advancing its legacy into the future, a sustainable future. And we aspire for this sustainable future by recognizing that standards are the foundation of innovation. They are not, like some people believe, barriers to creativity. but the launchpad that enables ideas to grow beyond borders. Standards provide the common language that allows a breakthrough in Nairobi Hub to scale into a market in Lagos and connect seamlessly to grids in Johannesburg. They ensure that technologies reshaping our world, artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, smart grids, and renewable energy systems are safe, reliable, and globally interoperable. This is how we build trust. This is how we de-risk investment. This is how we grow our economies and ensure a more sustainable future. And so if this celebration reminds us of how far we have come, it must also strengthen our resolve as we have been challenged for the road ahead. The future of this continent will be electrified, digital, connected, and highly interdependent. As Africa advances, flagship initiatives such as AFCFTA, the African Single Electricity Market, and digital transformation under Agenda 2063, harmonized standards, and trusted conformity assessment become even more vital. They will unlock industrial potential, reduce technical barriers to trade, strengthen regional value chains, and support universal access to affordable and clean energy. They will accelerate job creation, investment, and climate resilience. It has often been said that this is a decisive era in our history, and indeed it is, a time in which Africa must continue to evolve from being primarily a standards user to fully being a standards maker, a thought leader and ruler shaper in global electrotechnology. Africa must evolve into a continent whose innovations and advances in various disciplines are reflected in the international norms and shape the future. The responsibility and opportunity requires us to work even more collaboratively. I wish to commend IEC-AFRC, the Pan-Africa Quality Infrastructure, institutions, industry leaders, policymakers, engineers, and innovators who have walked this shared journey together. We have achieved much together, but what lies ahead demands even deeper cooperation across borders, sectors, and disciplines. So, as we engage in conversations and technical exchanges over the coming days, let us do so with urgency and unity of purpose. Let us reaffirm our collective commitment to a future where Africa's energy systems are secure and sustainable, where Africa's industries are competitive and globally connected, where every home, every business, and every community benefits from innovations they trust. The standards community is a community of bridge builders, people who thrive on partnerships and shared progress. That is why I'm confident that the next decade of IEC-AFRC will be even more impactful than the first one. The next decade will be defined by stronger African leadership, deeper regional integration, and transformation growth in electrotechnology. Congratulations to IEC-AFRC on this remarkable 10th anniversary. May we continue to build together a sustainable future powered by trust, quality, and innovation. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Njoroge. Let's appreciate him one more time. I would now like to invite our next speaker this morning, Engineer Bernard Modei, President, Africa Electrotechnical Standardization Commission. A little bit about Mr. Tawia Mode. He's the president of AFRC, a distinguished Ghanaian engineer and standardization leader. Elected in July 2019, he brings deep expertise in the electrotechnical and energy sectors and has served as senior power expert within the USAID West Africa Energy Program and Ghana technical lead at the ICF. Under his leadership, AFRC is advancing harmonized electrotechnical standards across the African continent, supporting safe, efficient, and interoperable power systems continent-wide. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Mode to the stage.
Good morning, everybody. Like others said, I'll also stand on the existing protocols and just proceed with some brief remarks. I'm really delighted to be here this morning to join in the celebration of the African Center of IEC. It's a great achievement in the 10 years that they've been around. We've had a few challenges in the past with our national committees and our national standard boards. They have helped in resolving that conflict by making most of the national standard board as part of the national committees. And Francois, we are grateful to you and your team. I'll say that AFRC was established, as most of you know, in 2008 towards bringing more electricity to Africa or working against the energy poverty. I'm happy to say that since then, there have been 3 major activities that has come up and which is helping to address this challenge. The first one is the development of the Africa Continental Master Plan, which is basically to help address the issue of the inequality in resources. Kenya, for instance, is blessed with a lot of geothermal potential. Congo is blessed with high or a lot of hydro resources. There are other countries that don't have all these resources. But by coming together, we can address this inequality and make energy available to everybody. The second one is the issue of the African single electricity market. And it's in line with the Continental Master Plan. You can imagine life without electricity. From the remote rural areas, people need to charge their mobile phones. To the industries that need power to drive their machines, and to the new technologies like e-mobility, electricity is vital. So these issues help in addressing the availability of electricity to our people on the continent, and this is what will help develop the products that would be traded on the third aspect, which is the African Continental Free Trade Area. Without electricity, you cannot you cannot produce to your satisfaction. So these 3 things, I'm happy that AFRC is playing a vital role. We have technical committees who are working with APWA and APWA is the Association of Power Utilities in Africa. So together, we're trying to bring the pools together. We have power pools in West Africa, in East Africa, in Southern Africa, and in the North. And if we can interconnect properly, we'll be able to achieve a lot. And I want to thank the experts from IEC, especially for developing the interconnection technical guides, which will help in addressing this issue. We've also developed guides in some other areas, especially in the area of renewable energy. A team has just completed another set of guides. And these guides are dear to me because sometimes the technical people or the people on the field find it difficult to go through all these standards. But when you have the guide that looks at the standards and summarizes everything, then it's an easy shop for them to go to address their needs. So I would like to thank all the experts that have contributed to this. And I also want to thank ASO for the collaboration that we're having with you to have joint working committees. And I hope all that we do will help address the standard of living of our people in Africa. Once the standards are there and people are sure that the quality of the good has met these standards through the conformity assessment and all that, trade becomes easy. And once trade becomes easy, economic growth comes in and the standard of living is improved. So I thank everybody who is contributing to this to help Africa grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mode. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now welcome our next speaker this morning, Mr. Joe Copps, the IEC president since January of 2023. You may take your seat so I can, as they say these days, give you your flowers. Joe Copps has been involved with the IEC for many years, including as treasurer, until the end of 2022. He led the Belgian Electrotechnical Committee as the Secretary General from 2012 to 2021. Joe Copps began his career at Sony in Belgium and consistently held various management positions within Sony Europe, followed by senior positions at Liberty Global, Alpha Technologies Europe, and most recently as Director of Industry Relations at Nico, a leader in home automation. Let's give him a warm round of applause, Mr. Joe Copps.
Jumbo. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends of standardization, friends of conformity assessment. It is an honor to join you today in Nairobi to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the IEC Regional Center in Africa. When we established this center in 2015, we took an important step in expanding IEC's presence across the African continent. Over the past decade, this center has strengthened Africa's participation in international standardization and conformity assessment, building capacity, fostering engagement, and delivering real results. My deepest gratitude goes to the government of Kenya and the IEC National Committee in Kenya, hosted by the Kenya Bureau of Standards, for their steadfast partnership. Thank you also to François Ahouti, my friend, and the entire team who have championed IEC initiative here across the continent. IEC's African Regional Center has become a cornerstone of Africa's engagement with international standards. It has addressed pressing challenges from expanding electricity access to improving industrialization and ensuring quality electrotechnical products reach African markets. The numbers tell a compelling story. Since 2015, 18 countries have advanced to Affiliate Plus status in the IEC. Cabo Verde, Djibouti, Liberia, Sao Tome and Principe, Somalia, and Togo joined the IEC affiliate family. Countries like Eswatini, Senegal, Seychelles, Sierra Leone, and Tanzania voluntarily adopted IEC conformity assessment systems. Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Ethiopia, and Uganda became IEC associate members. Nigeria upgraded to full member, and from January 2026, we will welcome Burkina Faso as an associate member. Côte d'Ivoire and Kenya are now IEC-EE national certification bodies, officially recognizing IEC-EE certificates. While standards provide the blueprint, conformity assessment builds the trust. It proves products meet safety, performance, and quality requirements. When African countries participate in IEC conformity assessment systems, they reduce costly duplicate testing, speed up market access, protect consumers from substandard goods, and build confidence among trading partners. We need more countries to engage and more certification bodies to join the global network. IEC's regional center in Africa has driven harmonization across the region through partnerships with bodies like AFSEC, with bodies like ECOWAS, AIDSMO, SATEXTAN, ICRIT, EAC-CRIT, and others. These partnerships have created stronger alignment and cooperation, supporting safer, more efficient, and more sustainable development across Africa. Thank you to all our partners. Your collaboration has made this milestone possible. I am proud we are hosting the first IEC Africa Quality Infrastructure in Electrotechnology Week. I invite you to attend the sessions and exhibitions we have planned. But today marks more than just a celebration. It marks a shift in our relationship. For 10 years, we have focused on bringing IEC to Africa. Now it's time to bring Africa to the IEC. Africa's voice in international standardization has grown stronger, but the next decade requires deeper engagement. We need African experts actively participating in technical committees, shaping the standards that will govern tomorrow's technologies. We need African countries to co-create standards, not just to adopt them. Standardization and conformity assessment are fundamentally strategic. The standards we develop shape trade policies, enable market access, drive industrial development, and determine technological sovereignty. They influence which products enter your markets, which industries thrive, and how Africa integrates into global value chains. This demands engagement beyond technical experts. We need policymakers and high-level decision makers at the table, ministers, permanent secretaries, heads of regulatory bodies. Your participation ensures standardization aligns with national development and economic strategies, regional integration goals. The challenges ahead, equitable access to standards, fostering innovation, deepening cooperation, are shared responsibilities. IEC stands ready to support this journey, but Africa must lead it. Our commitment to this IEC's regional center in Africa demonstrates our belief in Africa's potential, not as a recipient of standards, but as a full partner in developing standards. Thank you all for being part of the celebration. Your presence reflects the strength of our community and the promise of what we can achieve together. Let's make it about active participation, bold leadership, and Africa's full integration into the IEC at every technical and governance level. Asante.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cops. You know, when I asked for Swahili words, you did not say, Jambo. All right, let's appreciate Mr. Joe Cops one more time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now introduce our next speaker, who is our host this morning, Madame Esther Ngare, who's the Managing Director of the Kenya Bureau of Standards and a globally recognized leader in the agro-food and standardization sectors. With over 20 years of experience, and I see people already clapping. Madame, I also need to give you your flowers. Just give me 1 minute. With over 20 years of experience, she has held key leadership roles shaping both national and international standards, particularly within the agro-food industry. She serves on the ISO Commercial Policy Advisory Group and the Developing Countries Chairman Advisory Group. Her leadership and influence in advancing quality infrastructure have earned her international recognition, including being named among the 10 most inspiring Black corporate leaders to follow in 2024 by CIO Views and Public Sector Global CEO of the Week. Let's put our hands together for our host this morning, Madame Esther Ngare, Managing Director of KEBS.
Our chief guest, the Principal Secretary for State Department of Energy, represented by Engineer George Nyongayo, the IEC President, Joe Cops. Pole sana, we know that you arrived this morning, but we are happy to have you here. My chairman for the National Standards Council, Dr. Chris Wamarwa, the also Secretary General, Hamojin Sengimana, the ISO president, immediate former, Eddie Joroge, Bernard Mondi, AFRC president, Francois Ahoti, the regional director, IEC, Cyrus Kalusi, the Kenya National IEC president, all our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Kenya Bureau of Standards and the government of Kenya, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome all of you to Nairobi for this historic celebration of the 10th anniversary for the IEC Africa Regional Center, hosted alongside the inaugural Africa Electrotechnical Quality Infrastructure Week. We are truly humbled to host this premier gathering of key stakeholders from across Africa and the globe. To see this room with industry leaders, government officials, policymakers, and brilliant minds from the electrotechnical fields is an indication of the importance of the work we are here to do. The establishment of the IEC Africa Regional Center in 2015 was a decisive and visionary step. It was a commitment to strengthen Africa's voice and ensuring our active participation within the global electrotechnical community. The President has clearly put it, that yes, we have to be on the table making decisions. Over the past decade, this center has been more than just an office. It has been a vital engine for capacity building, a catalyst for collaboration, and a crucial bridge connecting Africa institutions with the broader IEC family. Is therefore of a decade of progress. We gather to honor the past, to commemorate and the tangible impact has on our continent. But as our theme reminds us, we are to innovate for a sustainable future. This is not just a reflection, it is a call to action, a call to deepen our collective commitment to building a robust quality infrastructure that underpins Africa's industrialization, competitiveness, and seamless integration into global value chains. Today, Africa stands at a pivotal moment. We are at the forefront of the clean energy transition. We are embracing digital technologies that redefine industries. We are strengthening resilient supply chains for a rapidly evolving world. In this context, international standards and conformity assessment are indispensable. They are not merely technical documents or procedures. They are the foundation of trust in our markets. They ensure the safety, reliabilities of our technologies. And importantly, they open doors to innovation, trade, and economic opportunity. For Africa, these tools are particularly vital in unlocking the full promise of the African Continental Free Trade Area. They enable goods, services, and ideas to move across borders with confidence and credibility. And they support our mission of extending universal electricity across access to millions of citizens who remain underserved, ensuring that no community is left behind in our continent's transformation. The work of the IEC, AFRC, parking institutions, and the national standards bodies, policymakers, industry leaders, engineers, innovators, and academia will therefore remain central to shaping a sustainable and prosperous future for our continent. This is why this event is so critical. It is a forward-looking dialogue on Africa's future. Over the next 3 days, this conference will serve as a dynamic platform for strategic engagement, knowledge exchange, and partnership building. We are here to chart the course for the next decade of Africa electro-technical journey, ensuring our region not only keeps pace, but plays an active and influential role in shaping the future of global standards and innovation. Kenya is immensely proud to serve as your host for this historic gathering. I encourage every one of you to take full advantage of this unparalleled platform to share your experiences, to strengthen your networks, and to explore the innovative pathways that will power Africa's sustainable transformation. Thank you for honoring this occasion with your participation. May the discussions and engagements held here illuminate clear pathways for the next decade of progress, a decade where Africa's electrotechnical sector emerges as a global force for innovation, sustainability, and shared prosperity. Happy 10th anniversary. Happy 10th anniversary. Thank you very much. I now want to take this opportunity to invite the chairman of the National Standards Council, Dr. Chris Wamarwa. He is the one who leads the governance structure at the Kenya Bureau of Standards. He's known as a politician, but now he's here as the leader for the Kenya Bureau of Standards, the National Standards Council. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Our chief guest, the Principal Secretary, State Department of Energy, Joe Cobbs, the IEC President, Madam Estangari, MD KEBS, Dr. Hamajin Zengimara, the ASO Secretary General, Mr. Edin Njoroge, the immediate ISO President, the IEC affiliate members, government agencies, the members of the fourth estate, ladies and gentlemen. Cannot clap. That many and shared rhythm. Today, as we celebrate the 10 years of IEC-AFRC, we also celebrate of partnership, the collective brilliance that has built Africa's foundation of technical excellence and innovation. This room holds the architects of Africa's industrial destiny. Over the past decade, the IEC-AFRC has guided nations, industries, and regulators towards a common goal, building an Africa whose growth is powered by standards, trust, and transformation. In the past, standards were viewed as technical checklists. Today, they are the scaffolding of modern economies, the policy instruments that shapes markets, unlock investments, and protect consumers. They are the silent architecture behind safe energy systems, competitive export, resilient industries. Across Africa and here in Kenya, we are with international because standards are new global our products will face rejection. With them, they gain credibility, access, and opportunity. Allow me to highlight the 3 policy priorities as we chart the next decades of standardization. 1. Accelerated adoption of IEC standards. We must fast-track the adoption of electrotechnical standards in clean energy, e-mobility, and digital infrastructure. These are not mere technical spaces. They are the engines of green industrialization and climate resilience. 2, mutual recognition across Africa. Under the African Continental Free Trade Area, a product certified in Nairobi should be trusted in Lagos, Kigali, and beyond. Harmonized standards and mutual recognition frameworks within the FCTA and a living reality and position Africa as a single competitive marketplace. 3, investment in human capital and innovation. Standards are only as strong as the people who implement them. We must empower engineers, scientists, innovators through training, mentorship, and research so that they can lead Africa's digital and energy transitions. Africa must not remain a passive consumer of global standards. We must be co-creators. Our climate realities, innovation ecosystems, and energy needs must inform the standards that shape the world. So today, I call upon governments to make standards the backbone of industrial and energy policy. Industry, invest in quality. It is your passport to competitiveness. Academia, integrate standardization into teaching. Development partners, build capacity and infrastructure for testing and certification. Regional bodies, harmonize, 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 harmonize. In conclusion, there's an Ashanti proverb that says, the strength of a nation begins in the homes of its people. The strength of Africa here in our shared standards, our shared values, and our shared vision. As we celebrate the 10 years of IEC-AFRC, let us look forward with clarity, courage, and conviction. Let us make Made in Africa synonymous with world-class quality. Because when Africa's standards rise, so does the Africa story. Happy 10th anniversary to the IEC and AFRIC and all who continue to make Africa's future shine brighter. Thank you. Asanteni sana. May I now take this opportunity to invite our chief guest, Permanent Secretary, Department of Energy. Makofi kwake. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Chair. Yes. Much thanks to the Chair for that powerful as has been told, my task today is very simple but noble, which is to discharge duties as instructed by Mr. Alex Kamawashira, CBS, Principal Secretary, State Department for Energy, Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, during this IEC-AFRC celebrations and the launch of Africa Electro-Technical Quality Infrastructure Week. So, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I wish to observe and express that I am profoundly honored to stand before this distinguished assembly today as we mark a decade of transformative impact. That is the 10th anniversary of the International Electrotechnical Commission, Africa Regional Center, and the launch of the Africa Electrotechnical Quality Infrastructure Week. This is not a mere conference. It is a convergence of leaders, innovators, policymakers, unified by a singular but urgent mission. We are here for reflection, certainly, but more importantly, we are here for renewal and action. Africa's future of energy is not a distant aspiration. It is a present necessity. The sobering reality is that over 600 million Africans that account for about 43% of our continent still lack reliable electricity. This is more than a statistic. It is a fundamental constraint on economic dignity. It is a call to our community. Yet this is matched by an overwhelming opportunity. Africa holds 60% of the best solar resource, alongside massive potential in wind and geothermal energy resources. The constraint lies not in availability, but in the fast, safe, and efficient deployment of these resources. The pathway to inclusive growth, green industrialization, and digital transformation runs directly through the cables and connections of our energy grid. Electrotechnology is the undisputed backbone of modern energy systems. It enables smart grids, mini grids, energy storage solutions, and green manufacturing that will define the 21st century African economy. But innovation is said to be chaos if it lacks a common language. These innovations remain fragmented, unsafe, and inefficient. Lighting up and powering Africa is the foundation of economic development. And without energy, surely there is no industrialization, no digital transformation, and no inclusive growth. IEC standards are the silent enablers of our progress. They are the blueprint for safety, interoperability, and trust. They ensure that every solar panel, every transformer, every EV charger, and every computer operates safely, efficiently, and on scale. How we build the foundation that's on clean and affordable, and directly tackle SDG 13 on climate action. I wish to observe that standards are not red tape. They are the fast track to unlocking private investment, scaling centralized solutions, and achieving our collective ambition of universal energy access. By harnessing the power of innovations, we will definitely be able to solve Africa's energy challenges. And IEC standards provide framework for that innovation. In the design and construction of power systems, especially decentralized like the mini-grids and microgrids, which often use diverse mix of energy technologies, compliance must be ensured at every level of the system stack, not just for the overall architecture or the final integration. This means every individual piece of hardware that make up the system, from the smallest wire to the largest inverter, must be independently tested verified, certified, and manufactured according to the relevant IEC standard. Kenya is immensely proud to host the International Electrotechnical Commission Africa Regional Center. We affirm our commitment to deepening this collaboration, leveraging quality infrastructure to power every home, every business, and every Kenyan dream. Together with the Kenya Bureau of Standards, under the IEC-AFRC, we have achieved transformative milestones that serve as a model for the region in the following areas: standardization and safety. Over 2,000 IEC standards have been localized and adopted as national guidelines, dramatically improving the quality and safety of energy technologies deployed in our urban and rural settings. Capacity building, we have collectively trained over 300 engineers, technicians, and policymakers in critical electrotechnical standardization and energy efficiency protocols, strengthening our technical workforce. In rural impact, the development of technical guidelines for mini-grids, supported by the IEC standards, has been instrumental in scaling up decentralized energy solutions, bringing safer, more reliable power to underserved rural communities. And in renewable energy integration, it is noted that collaboration on solar and wind projects has ensured that installations meet international safety and performance benchmarks, reducing system failures and increasing investor confidence due to standardized procurement installation protocols, thereby improving efficiency and sustainability. In policy integration, it is noted that IEC conformity assessment schemes are now deeply embedded in Kenya's national energy policy, building codes, and public procurement systems, positioning Kenya as a leader in quality infrastructure. In regional leadership and knowledge sharing, it is noted that Kenya, through the State Department and the Kenya Bureau of Standards, has hosted regional workshops and technical fora, supporting neighboring countries in adopting IEC conformity assessment schemes, fostering continental collaboration, and advancing Africa's collective energy agenda. The launch of the Africa Electrotechnical Quality Infrastructure Week is our declaration that this is the moment to move from planning to decisive and integrated action. Our mandate is clear. We must electrify Africa, not just for power, but with a purpose. My call to every stakeholder presented today, therefore, is to governments to make energy access, standardization, the first pillar of national development and industrialization agenda. Embed quality infrastructure in investment decision as already guided by our government. The private sector to invest in energy solutions, but only those that are certified and compliant with IEC standards. Standards are your guarantee of scale, longevity, and return on investment. The development partners, we need to close the financing gap, scale up concessional financing, and dedicated support for decentralized systems. The mini-grids, the solar kits are essential for the 80% of the underserved populations living in rural areas. To the youth and academia, a call is to engage in electrotechnical innovation and research. The next generation of smart grid solutions will come from you. To regional bodies, prioritize the harmonization of standards to foster cross-border trade and create a unified, competitive African energy market. And to the Africa power pools, the call is to power pools to ensure interoperability, reliability, and safe interconnections for trading power across borders. And for this to happen, there must be harmonized standards and conformity assessment systems through African Electrotechnical Standardization Commission for interconnection codes, metering, and power quality, and to adopt and localize AFRC guidelines. Localization ensures that standards fit specific regulatory, environmental, and industrial context, which creates a level playing field, guarantees quality, and ensures that resources being invested in energy access deliver safe, long-term reliability. To conclude, let this week be a powerful launchpad for collaboration, capacity building, and renewed commitment. May our shared vision continue to illuminate the path forward for the next decade. And finally, on behalf of the PS State Department for Energy, it is now my humble responsibility to declare the 10th anniversary celebrations officially open and the first Quality Infrastructure in Electrotechnology Week officially launched. Happy 10th anniversary to the International Electrotechnical Commission Africa Regional Center. Thank you.
Engineer George Nyongayo, Assistant Director at the State Department for Energy at the Ministry of Petroleum and Energy. Let's give him another warm round of applause for ably representing our chief guest this morning, Mr. Alex Washira, the Principal Secretary, the State Department of Energy. So ladies and gentlemen, earlier I said there's two things that really almost define African celebrations. What were they? Song and dance. And there's another thing, which I think goes beyond the continent, which is cigarette. Food, more definitive, to mark a celebration? Cake. So we are now going into a cake cutting ceremony where we will officially mark 10 years and celebrate as we retrospect, as we look back at the developments over the past 10 years, and of course to look forward. So I'd like to invite the team that is bringing the cake forward, which will be on this side. I'd also like to ask the KEBS choir to be upstanding and to come to the front to help us celebrate the cake cutting. And as they do that, I'll also be asking our chief guest, our managing director, our speakers from this morning, chairman of the NSC as well. I'll ask for you to come to join us on stage in just a moment as soon as we have our cake. And as they prepare, I'd just like to let you know what to expect right after. We'll take a very quick coffee break.
We still camped at KICC, where the the International Electrotechnical Commission is celebrating its 10-year anniversary, and the first session of speeches has just ended. Various speakers have spoken regarding the achievements and the way forward regarding what needs to be done in as far as the standards is concerned. We are talking about the standards within electrotechnology space within Africa. And one of the things that has come out is that Africa needs to be co-creators within this space, and also IEC continues to amplify Africa's voice in as far as standard setting is concerned. And one of the things that has been spoken by one of the speakers, that is Dr. Chris Wamawalwa, who is the National Standards Council chairperson. It was a 3-point priority for the next decade. Just to touch on the 3 points: accelerated adoption for technical standards, mutual recognition across Africa through the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and Africa also must invest in human capital and innovation. Of course, we will be bringing you more updates regarding this conference in our subsequent bulletins. Remember, it's running from today, the 4th, up to the 6th of the November. That is this Thursday. And it's also an event that will include policymakers, innovators, and professionals, and also standard bodies across Africa from different countries. Remember, this conference or the commission includes over 48 countries from within Africa, and this continues up until Thursday. Also, one of the things that has been called, one of the rallying calls is for governments to make standards as the backbone of industrialization, and also academia to include standards in their curriculums. And also the past decade has been very pivotal in terms of capacity building and collaborations and links with the broader electro-technical space. This is a call to relook at rebuilding Africa's industrialization in global value chains. Of course, we shall be bringing you more of this in our subsequent bulletin. But for now, I take you back to the broadcasting. My name is Mike.
Thank you so much to the KBC Choir. Let's give them a warm round of applause. Africa Liberté, a Congolese favorite saying, Free Africa. Another warm round of applause to the KBC Choir. Please stay with us. We'd like you to usher us into coffee break in just a moment, so please do stay with us on stage.
When it comes to experimenting with new tech, the Augsburg State Theatre is a real trailblazer. Here you can see industrial robots as ballet dancers or entire operas in VR, or you can dive into augmented reality.
This QR code is concealing a world of surreal adventure. Leonora Carrington's production Ein Flannelnachthemd takes place in augmented reality. Augsburg State Theatre is taking the stage to the city's streets with this radical new production. The QR codes are everywhere, on the streets, on postcards, and online.
Man hat diese Hemmschwelle nicht ins Theater zu gehen, sich eine Karte kaufen zu müssen, nicht zu wissen, was man anzieht, sondern man kann es einfach in der Stadt erleben.
Benjamin Seufert makes it happen. His 3D models make the stage for the actors, who are recorded in front of a green screen, in 2D. That introduces an interesting challenge for them.
Während man sich auf einer Bühne ja sehr frei bewegen kann, hat man im Studio die Herausforderung, dass man eben sich vor allem in geraden Ebenen bewegen muss. Wir haben eben die Greenscreen gedreht und hatten das Bühnenbild immer nur als 3D-Modelle gesehen.
In another project, Augsburg State Theatre is performing the opera Erwartung. but this time as an interactive game.
Erwartung wird ein Virtual
Erwartung will become a VR
Game sozusagen.
Arnold Schoenberg's
Mono-Oper in einer 360-Grad-Umgebung als Spiel begehbar für den Zuschauer mit einer Ego-Perspektive, mit wechselnden Perspektiven, mit Aufgaben, die zu lösen sind. Also eine ganz, ganz andere Form von Opernerfahrung, als man das normalerweise kennt.
It's a new experience for singer Sally Durant, too. 3D scans are used to create an avatar. Then she will be filmed singing using face tracking technology. AI software will then project her facial expressions onto the avatar.
The technology that we now have will change, I think, a lot in the theater. I would prefer it not to be too big, because for me it's still important to have my connection with the audience, and it's live.
Augsburg's Program of the Future will continue with both conventional and digital productions. The possibilities are endless.
Gut in VR funktionieren Dinge, die riesig groß sind, die jede Bühne sprengen würden. Wir haben mit Orfeo und Eurydice, einem großen Opernprojekt, haben wir einfach die gesamte Unterwelt in die VR-Brille gebracht.
Today, the theatre is offering 12 productions in virtual reality. Dance, drama and concerts. The theatre ships out VR goggles to audiences in Germany and Austria. But you can also buy a download and watch performances on your own VR device.
Wir erleben eine wahnsinnig große Neugier. Wir haben eine sehr überraschende Influencer-Zielgruppe, die ist zwischen 40 und 60 Jahre alt. Die bestellen sich die VR-Brillen nach Hause und setzen sie dann ihren eigenen Eltern auf, die um die 80 sind, und ihren eigenen Kindern, die um die 20 sind. Das heißt, wir erreichen eigentlich einen ganzen Familienkreis und eine wahnsinnig große Bandbreite an Personen.
Augsburg's VR productions are reinvigorating theatre and breaking barriers for audiences everywhere.
I think it's a great idea for theaters to reach people who might not otherwise be inclined to go. And it's a wonderful opportunity for those who can't come in person. Next up is a theater in Berlin, which has replaced its backdrop with holographic projections. The Felix's Room project uses 3D scans to bring a so-called Judenhaus on stage. In the Nazi era, Jews who had been expelled from their homes were forcibly relocated to such houses. The play gives an insight into life there.
A holographic projection recreates the room in which Jewish couple Felix and Erna Gantz lived before their deportation and murder in 1944. The play Felix's Room tells the tale of their time here. The couple was expelled from their home by the Nazis in 1942 and assigned a room in a so-called Judenhaus. The projections show what it was like there. Felix's great-grandson, Adam Gantz, tells their story at the Berliner Ensemble Theatre. Letters from the protagonists, including a sketch of the room, inspired the work.
And then I thought, I need to rebuild the space. I knew it was possible with LiDAR scanning technology. The British Studio Scan Lab projects designed the virtual set. It took the team 2 months to recreate Felix Gantz's room using his sketches. They used LiDAR technology to create 3D models from them. The scans are projected onto translucent curtains from 5 angles. That allows the room to be rotated as desired. But how does LiDAR work?
It's an instrument about this size. It sits on a tripod, and over the course of between 5 minutes or an hour, depending on the resolution that you're after, it fires millions of laser pulses in every direction. So every point that that laser touches, we mark in space, and we end up with this really accurate 3-dimensional replica of the space which the scanner's been in.
The piece gives a unique glimpse into Felix and Erna Gantz's past as wealthy merchants. Watching the rehearsal today is a special guest, Shireen Hamburg. Erna and Felix Gantz's grandniece has come to Berlin especially from Australia.
There was a tear. I think, some of the scenes are incredibly powerful. The ballroom scene and the bombing scene when they get smaller and smaller. That really caused a shiver down my back.
The Nazi era saw millions of Jews expelled, persecuted, murdered. Felix and Erna Gantz's story is just one of many. 3D projection technology is a tremendously powerful tool, giving the audience an intimate glimpse into this heart-wrenching story.
Holographic projections and virtual environments allow for different kinds of personal interaction with theater, opera and music. In this case, it adds a whole new dimension to a truly moving story. But what about AI? Art is something intrinsically human, so should we be using AI for it at all? Ultimately, it should be up to the artists. I think that art needs to be somehow connected to our reality, but that reality today is one which is increasingly influenced by technology, so why not involve robots and generative AI? What do you think? Can AI add to the art world without taking anything away? We would love to hear from you. See you next time. Bye.
We all want to have a healthy and sustainable lifestyle, right? I know that's not easy, but 8 billion people live on Earth and we all need to eat and preserve our beautiful planet. Is it even possible to do both? Yes, using tech. And smart farming is our topic on Shift today. There's no future without sustainable farming. To help farmers grow more food with less chemicals, there are many startups that use data analysis to examine everything from soil conditions to climate changes to the most efficient ways to use fertilizer. So far, however, this data is not equally accessible to everyone. For instance, when it comes to data from space. Satellites are rarely gathering info from sub-Saharan Africa. A Kenyan startup wants to change this using artificial intelligence. This farmer from Nyeri, Kenya has been working with satellite images to increase his crop yield. He is supported by a startup specializing in eco-friendly technology from the capital Nairobi. Their goal? Farmers should have access to more data on the soil, the weather and future changes to the climate.
Using this data, we're able to create models, and these models will help us, to understand what is happening at the farm at any point in time.
For farmers like Martin Waniki, climate change is making it increasingly difficult to tell when to start sowing. His hopes now rest on data from the software Amini, which could help him to be more efficient.
When we have enough data about the weather, we will know if the rain is going to come and it will not last long, it will be short rains. We do potatoes and those 3 months crops. If it is going to be long rains, then we'll know we are going to do maize or those plants that go for a longer period.
Amini gathers weather and soil data from satellites in space and analyzes this using AI. The company is based in Nairobi. Since most satellites are not directed towards gathering data from Africa, getting high quality and reliable data is challenging. Amini founder Kate Kellett wants to change this.
We wanted to make sure that countries in the global south were also equipped with the same platforms that the global north have been able to get access to. And if the west or the global north has accelerated and has created the world that we see today, full of technology, Africa hasn't been able to capture that revolution because of the lack of high quality and accessible data.
Kate Kellett isn't tackling this challenge alone. She wants to fundamentally change how data is gathered across Africa and is thus cooperating with academic research institutes in Kenya that use machine learning to protect the climate.
Ultimately, what we're building at Amini is all to leave a legacy to the African continent. So we're hoping that as we continue to work with the students and build capacity within the continent, they come and take over and bring that mission and that vision 100 times further that we will be able to do it today.
In less than 5 years, Amini has already raised more than $2 million. Kate Kellett wants to use the satellite data to improve Amini's machine learning system. The data can provide more information on the impact of climate change and thus help the farmers on the ground. Here, small-scale farmers are especially important to her.
When I see people who say, well, these farms actually don't have an impact, they have an impact. When you put 600 million of them together, they feed the entire planet, and that's very powerful, and that's why we should care about these farms.
Supporting individual farmers, that's also important. Small farms produce around 35% of the world's food, despite using just 12% of all agricultural land. That means they are essential for our nutrition. One project that supports small farmers is in northern Cameroon. A classroom in the north of Cameroon. In this course, farmers use VR headsets to enter virtual fields to keep their real-world cotton plants pest-free.
This type of training lets farmers practice new methods. By being able to try them out, they understand the challenges better and can adapt accordingly.
Halawachi Halahoki learned how to grow cotton from his parents. Now he'd like to try new methods and expand his skill set. The VR headset lets him train on a virtual cotton field. Here, he can zoom closer to the plants in order to spot potential pest infestation plants. Of course, who eat caterpillars can be helpful for pest control.
It feels like you're inside the video on the fields and can observe what's happening. It's been really helpful.
In this virtual world, the farmers also learn how to produce biological pesticide spray by mixing ground neem seeds with water, vegetable oil and a bit of detergent. Not only is it more eco-friendly and less harmful to humans than chemical pesticides, but it's also much cheaper. The techniques taught in VR present life situations. Immersive learning is also cheaper than regular training, as there are no costs for transport and accommodation. The Cameroonian cotton export company Sode Coton also profits from well-trained farmers.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia,
tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Libengo niko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama ya PDG, ma deep state pia vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
Usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, station ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija kipwani.